Welcome to the Gear Garage Live Show. This weekly YouTube show covers whitewater rafting, river safety,
oh God, I lost my paddle,
gear, and anything else Zach feels like rambling on about.
Oh man, that intro is so dorky. I'm kind of embarrassed by it. Actually, I haven't heard it for a few weeks, so maybe I'll change it. Thank you all for listening and watching the show, even with the dorky intro. Just to remind you, this is a show we try to do every week. It's kind of hit or miss right now because it's summer and I'm super busy. Every Tuesday at 2 p.m. And it's also a podcast. I listened to it as a podcast the other day. It wasn't as terrible as I thought. If you just want to hear the audio, it's available on Spotify and Apple and things like that. It's intended as a video show. But I understand if you're driving, I don't know, jogging or something, you can listen to it. I'll try to make it entertaining, and I'll try to say what the questions are, so you don't have to watch it. But we're going to start a lot of questions this week. I've been off for a few weeks from the show, and want to start quickly with the agenda. First, I'll talk about River Hardware. Then we'll answer questions. And River Hardware is kind of a sponsor of the show. It's an online store where I sell things. I want to just be clear, I'm out of town for a couple weeks. So things won't ship. So if you need things, you can see the little sign at the top that orders may not ship. There have been a ton of orders while I've been gone. I hope everybody who made orders understands that they may or may not ship. I have help shipping them while I'm away, but some orders they can't ship. And so if you want to order anything and you need it, go somewhere else. I don't even know where. You go to Downriver Gear in Colorado, or go to Cascade Outfitters in Idaho. You can even go to NRS. A lot of options. But if you're willing to wait, the stuff I have will ship early August. So with that, let's get to questions. I know a lot of you here to have your questions answered, or hear what answers are. I would really appreciate help answering questions. So if those of you that are watching, you know answers, you have answers, please chime in the comments. I'd really appreciate it, because this isn't just me answering these questions. It's hopefully the community. So the first question, this is a long one. Do you have a general ratio for boat length and the weight it can hold? And it goes along with examples. No, I mean, I haven't weighed all of our gear. I don't go, that's a 17-foot boat, and I have 2,800 pounds. I've never weighed our gear. A long time ago on the Tuolumne, we used to put boats in a sling and pull them up onto the bridge, and it could weigh the whole boat. And I feel like 16-foot boats could hold a couple thousand pounds, but I'm not exactly sure. I have no ratio. They can hold a lot of weight. Boats can hold a lot of weight. I mean, I've loaded them down super heavy. It's just harder. It's just literally harder. So unfortunately, I don't have any kind of a ratio or equation for that. And honestly, I've never weighed our gears. I mean, we do weigh our gear when we fly in, so I can figure it out, but I've never really looked at the weight of stuff. I just put it in and we row it down. And my recommendation is, if you're not very good at rowing, bring less stuff. Yeah. Is there a specific formula or magic number that relates tube diameter, weight capacity, and boat length? No, I don't think anybody has ever thought about that. Oh yeah, Sean, Clavey. Clavey Paddle Sports in California. They're really good. There's a bunch of great stores. Okay, follow-up question. Are heavier boats truly faster than lighter boats? It seems to me the heavier boats might be faster if they displace enough surface area. I don't really know what that means. And just to be clear, I do have a master's degree in engineering. I know some things about science. It's been a while since I practiced, but I understand science and math and things, engineering. When you say it seems to me heavier boats might be faster if they displace enough surface area, I don't know why I don't get that. Maybe I'm just dumb, but I did know some things about this, such as with sweep boats and larger tubes. I don't think tube diameter plays a factor either. Anyway, so it seems to me heavier boats might be faster if they displace enough surface area, blah, blah, blah. However, I recently rode a heavy 16-foot boat and find it difficult to keep up with lighter boats. So, and I've tried to understand the science. In a sweep boat, if it's loaded, they go pretty fast. People have a hard time keeping up with a sweep boat. You can if you're just pushing downstream, but the sweep isn't pushing, it's just in the current. And so all things equal, in my experience, heavier boats are faster than lighter boats. And I don't have an exact explanation of why. And some of you probably can tell me it's because of displacement or this or that. And maybe that's true. I don't really know. but I found that heavier boats do move faster than lighter boats. My theory, to simplify it, is that they're sitting deeper in the current and they're catching the faster currents, which are under the surface of the water. So when there's more weight, they're deeper and they catch deeper currents, especially if there's a little bit more weight in the bow. I feel like they get dragged down the river. They track, and I think of that as being dragged down the river. So if I'm a little bow heavy, I feel like more water is pushing them down the river. Yeah. So it's also, I feel like heavier boats are generally better boaters and they just see the currents better. They just know where to go exactly. They have to be like better. And so just because you rode a 16-foot boat and you found it difficult to keep on lighter boats, maybe, I don't know if you just rode as a passenger or you're rowing, but like maybe my guess is you're just not as good as the people in lighter boats. Like if I'm in a heavy 16-foot boat, depends on the river too. Like the Middle Fork, I can probably destroy lighter boats if I'm in a heavy 16-foot boat. Just if I'm just pointing where to go and staying with the current, and I know where the faster water is, and I know the river really well. Whereas a river like the Tuolumne, where I need to do more back paddles and rowing and fine detail stuff, the lighter boats can probably go faster because they don't have to do as much back; they can forward more. So it is somewhat river dependent. If you're saying generally in class 2 or 3, yeah, the heavy boat's probably going to smoke the lighter boats. And if the heavy boat's going slower, they're getting stuck, or the person rowing the boat just doesn't have the skill to use the water as well. So that's my thoughts. Hopefully it answers your question. If people watching have better thoughts, that would be great. But I don't. Yeah, that's just my general thoughts. All right, cool question. Hey Zach, love the channel. Thanks. That's nice to hear. We were running the Middle Fork Thursday at. We're running the Middle Fork Thursday River at 1.9. Any worries or just go slow and expect some dragging? I mean, yeah, Thursday. Thursday. I'm a little confused by what you're asking, but I think you're leaving Thursday, which is in a couple days, and it's going to look to be 1.9 feet. I mean, it depends on your crew. If you have like, I would say I would worry if you have small boats, heavy loads, and or mediocre boaters. In my generalization at 1.9, you want bigger boats, so they sit lower in the water, they go over the shallow rocks. You want lighter loads because you're just going to get stuck. And you want good boaters, like people that can boat and make good decisions. I've watched a lot of videos of Velvet and Ramshorn lately, people, and they're just trying to do crazy things, and they're making mistakes. So really good boaters help. So yeah, but just go. That's a good thing. Go slow and expect some dragging. Big boats, light loads, good boaters, awesome. If you don't have those things, maybe have some worries. Make sure you patch boats. A lot of people are tearing boats out there. Bring some extra oars. A lot of oars are breaking. Scout, Ram's Head, and Velvet right now. You're gonna maybe get stuck in one or both of them. Probably, I mean, Velvet is really like the entrance is really weird. But yeah, that's it. Have fun. If you have more questions, throw them in the comments. But just go have fun. I was just out there last week and going out next week. Oh, you're on the night Thursday. Let's see. Oh yeah, 25th. Yeah, I'm on the 27th. So if you're on an 8-day trip, we'll catch up with you. Okay, next question. I'm getting a raft frame for a friend for his wedding. The raft is a 14-foot air. Any recommendations? I mean, this is so vague. I don't even like. Is it for day trips, multi-day trips? Do you need to ever take it apart and fly it in, or do you want a one piece? Do you want to sit on a cooler? Do you want to sit on a seat? I mean, I can't answer this question with this little information. My just quick answer would be go to. I mean, just quick. I mean, this is just with my answer that's as vague as your question would be to go to Better Mounts, which is my go-to place for frames that break down, and get one of these frames. He has these new oar towers. I just got some. They're sweet. The seat mount is cool, and just get like a classic frame. And I wish he sold. It's hard to understand what he's selling here sometimes, but I wish he just sold a full frame setup. You see crossbars and foot bars and side rails. It'd be cool if there was on here just like frame. And so, yep, that's what I'm getting. It's just a simple frame. So NRS makes the Longhorn, which is just a simple square frame. It's a great day frame. You can add extra things if you want to put coolers in them or whatever. Get longer pieces, get longer. I wonder if he has longer side rails. Get like, here we go. There's too many choices here. Too many choices. Length. Yeah, go long and then add more crossbars. I mean, I would probably, all things equal, I would design your own frame from Better Mounts. You just have to know some things before you buy them because he just sells parts. He doesn't sell full frames. I mean, he sells the frame, but he does. It's like hard to see what you're getting. This is great stuff. So I'll probably go here and custom design what you want. Um, yeah, you'll figure it out. That's yeah, that's probably what I go with. And NRS frames got the Better Mouse frames are just better. They're called better is in the term. They're better than NRS. So you can get an NRS frame and do all kinds of things, or just go to Better Mounts, support like a small business who is like actually making better stuff than NRS. It's lighter, it's stronger, it's cheaper, it's better. In everything I see, it's better, except for like NRS's website is a little easier to navigate to get what you want. You have to be a little bit more like left brain to figure out what you want on Better Mounts sometimes. Yeah. I mean, I now have a handful. I have both, but the Better Mounts ones are so much better. I agree, Sean. They're so sweet. I just pick it up. It's lighter, and it's stronger. Yeah. I would go Better Mounts over NRS. Okay, let's see. Well, they still exist. I'm starting to get BM stuff as I need new parts. Fair enough. I'm trying to get what's BM stuff. Better Mount stuff. Yeah. So like, as you need to replace things, get Better Mount stuff. These ore towers are really cool. And the thing I like about them is they have 2 bolt things underneath for extra friction. With the NRS ore towers work, but they only have 1 bolt. And so when you flip, it'll almost always hit a rock and bend it. And when you flip the boat back over, you have to get a tool out before you can row again, which if you're above a class 5 rapid is a problem. Where this has more friction, and it's just a cool design. It looks cool. It's he explains why it's better, and I don't understand all the reasons it's better, but it says he uses Del Ring bushings for more durable and quiet experience. I mean, I have no idea what that means, what a Del Ring bushing is. I just have to trust him that it's better. And like I said, they're pretty cool. Chemist, do you have opinions on Matt? Yeah, they're cool. I've recommended them to some of the people in our classes. I don't think I've ever used one or seen one, but I think they're pretty cool. Let me see if I can find those here, Matt Cow frames. There's a lot, my thing about frames, here we go. Yeah, these just look like good frames. I'm personally not a huge fan of this diamond plating stuff because it just makes it heavier. It's really cool when you're on like a 18-day trip, you have diamond plating to walk on for sure. I'm personally not a fan of all this diamond plating. But yeah, it's maybe they can make it without. Maybe you like diamond plating. I don't have no idea. But these seem like good overnight frames. These are not going to be day trip frames. That's the one issue is like people show up for our class 4 school sometimes in Hood River. We do a bunch of day trips. We're loading boats, unloading boats, lowering boats down cliffs. These big heavy frames just don't work. And so if you're only doing overnight trips, that's all you do. That's a sweet frame. This like Mad Cow frame is sweet. Recratech, Mad Cow, I don't know who else makes frames. The big like solid piece frames are really sweet for if you only do overnight. But if you want to go out and get better at boating, which getting better at boating, DRE makes Downriver Equipment. We have a bunch of their frames. They're pretty similar to these. They have all these like brackets to move. It looks like they do come apart, but looks like no, maybe not. You maybe can't fly these in. I'm not totally sure. But that's the thing. Will you someday maybe have to fly stuff in, whether you're doing like the Alice or Tat or you're doing the milk fork in a certain flow? Do you want to be able to like take it apart? That's a factor for sure. But I think if you want to do day trips, that's how you get better. Go do like if you live in Oregon, go do the Clackamas, go do the Wind, go do the Hood. If you want to get better at boating, you got to go do day trips. Or if you just like boating and up to do day trips, I think these the Better Mounts frame or Longhorn frame that NRS makes, these like smaller, lighter things are sweet. And maybe having one of each, maybe having all these big Mad Cow things for your expedition and having a day trip frame for just getting practice, I think is the key. It's just a lot of money. You need 2 sets of oar towers, you need more oar locks, and all kinds of stuff. But again, like if you only ever multi-day boat, you're only ever going to be so good. You're never going to get amazing unless you get reps doing day trips. Unless some of you are just naturally good, probably, so it's not a big deal. Okay, back to the questions. Yeah, I mean, some of you just jump on your spinnies and your Cobra oar locks and your tall oar towers and your big splue seats, and you just magically have the abilities and gifts to like use all these tools to get yourself down the river effortlessly, and so you don't need day trips. But I definitely need practice. Let's go back. Zach's low water considerations Rex were money for 1.6. Yeah. So I have a blog post about things to read for low water. I've done a couple of videos too. Yeah, I mean 1.9 is just the warm up. 1.9 is still like not that bad. When we get into 1.6s, the 1.5s, then it gets a little more serious. And a lot of those rapids, especially the first 20 miles, are tough. Yep. And there's stuff I haven't even put in my blog. There's the sheep eater shallows, which you're just gonna get stuck and drag your boat down. It's not even in the blog because it's not a major thing. It's just get stuck and drag your boat down. But yeah, the 1.9 is pretty chill. Not something I stress out about too much. Of course, Velvet and Hells are getting interesting. Okay, back to questions. Get out of here. All right, boat recommendation. I know you have answered this question many times, so apologies in advance. That's funny. Would an Air 143R, maybe outfitted with an NRS Bighorn 2 frame, be a solid choice for a whitewater boat used for both day and multi-day trips for an intermediate boater? Most often, there would be 2 people in the boat, sometimes 3. Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to know all your hopes and dreams. My go-to for overnight stuff, my go-to size is 16 feet. So if it was me, I'd go with the Air 156R, which is I think 15 and a half feet, but close enough. I'd go bigger. Like bigger is better. It sits higher. So middle fork, you're sitting higher at low water. It's given same amount of stuff. Rogue, a little bit bigger, I think is better for the Rogue. For Grand Canyon, that 143R is gonna be a bit small. Yeah, for day trips, the bigger boat's more work to like wrangle in and out of put-ins. But I just think if your main priority is multi-day, go with the 156R. If it's like 50-50 multi-day day trip, if it's 50-50 multi-day day trip, but there's boat ramps at put-ins and takeouts, and you're rowing, I'd still go 156R. If you're 50-50 day trip multi-day, and some of your put-ins are like lowering down cliffs, or some of your takeouts are carries up a hill, or you want to use it as a paddle boat with no frame, I'd go 143R, because a 143R can be a paddle boat, just straight paddle boat. You can R2 it. It can also be a gear boat. You can also carry it if access is difficult. But if it's always boat ramps, always rowing, I just would go to a 16-foot. In Air, that the one I recommend, 156R. Okay, cool. Hopefully that helps. All right, how often do you guys cycle through your jumbo fleet? We do not. We don't sell. I rarely sell boats. A lot of people call me, I want to buy one of your boats. And I'm like, oh, you can buy them from Wing directly. And they're like, well, I want a deal. That I'm not the person to call. Like, don't call me if you're looking for a deal. I rarely sell boats. Yeah, I'm not cycling through things. I buy high quality stuff that lasts a long time. And so I rarely cycle through boats. If you're looking for, it sounds like you're looking for a deal on a Jimbo, and you're not going to find one. I don't think anybody's selling their Jimbos. Because when we all bought them, they were like $1,400. Now they're like $2,000 plus. So it's hard to sell them. Okay. Why is one better than the other? Regarding actual performance, why is the Dynamite or Blade better than the Duramax? Because it's totally flat. It doesn't have there's a little ridge in the Duramax. And it doesn't chip. Like the Duramax is just, they get all these chips in them. Like if you have one, you'll within a year, you'll probably have a little, I think a shark bite is what I call it. It's a little chip in it. And so, yeah, that's basically it. I get thinking more of a beating, but it's an actual performance advantage. And it's lighter too. So it's just a flat blade instead of like a flat blade with a little ridge in it. It probably doesn't make a difference. But the I'm pretty sure that Dying Light's lighter too. So for just like swing weight, for having when the blade's way out there, that swing weight does matter for efficiency. And so, I mean, honestly, if you gave me either blade on any river, I'd be fine. I'd be like, whatever. I have a Duramax, but I know I'm going to get those chips in it, and over time, those chips take away from the blade surface area. And I see people all the time with Duramaxes, and I see them with the Magnum. Who makes the Magnum? The not Carlisle. The what's the other company that makes? I don't know. There's the other company that makes oars. They have a Magnum. It gets all kinds of shark bites in it too. Yeah, then there's a performance decrease because you have less surface area. They just break. So if like you're trying to save some money, just go Duramax. It's not that big of a difference. If you're trying to save money in the short term, go Duramax because it's cheaper to buy. It'll last you a little while. If you're trying to save money in the long term, I'd go Dying Light because they'll last longer. It's gonna be easier to row. Does action move your boat better? Probably not. Maybe a tiny bit, but probably not. Okay, are you aware of the Class 4 Plus Rapid at Colson Creek? Yeah, I drive by it every time I take on the Middle Fork. Cool. Whoa, I can barely read this. All right, boat selection. Oh, here we go. Oh man, some good questions, some good answers. I used my Williamson as an R2 last summer in the Payette when my 6 oars got. Do you have 6 oars stolen? That sucks. But yeah, I mean, a 14-foot boat R2 is great. I think we're all think we need to have like mini maxes and little tiny 10, 11-foot boats. The 13-foot boat, I think, is the go-to art. Like the 13-foot boat is the best R2 boat in my opinion. The 14-foot boat R2 is fine. I think when you go to 10 and 12, it's a little too small to R2. Duramax bit. Ooh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. That's surprising. I never paid attention to that. By the way, Cody, I noticed you're at like 935 subscribers. If you're all watching this, go to Private Whitewater. You can just quit this because I'm about to bore all of you here at the end. Quit this. Go to Private Whitewater's channel. Subscribe to Cody. Let's get him to 1,000 subscribers. He's 65 subscribers away. There's 27 people watching. If you all did this, we're so close to getting to 1,000. 1,000 in YouTube is a big deal. And even like email your friends and say, hey, friends, you should support Private Whitewater. It'd be sweet if you all did. We really want to get Cody to 10,000, really, but 1,000's a good first step. Cataract Magnum. Yeah, they shark bite like crazy. I see it all the time. Okay, let's see if I can read this. Grace and I are thinking, can I make this bigger? Oh, there we go. I put my face there. Okay, Grace and I are thinking of adding a small paddle raft to our quiver of boats. We take our kids on multi-day trips, and they're getting old enough to be bored being passengers in an oar boat. I'm thinking of one of the 10 to 12-foot paddle rafts could work for us. They roll pretty small and go on the gear boat when they get tired of paddling. Yeah, okay, cool. That sounds good. It's a pain in the butt to roll boats. Like, oh, let's just pull over when the kids are bored and like roll this. And then, oh, they're not bored anymore. Or like, let's put them back in. Let's pump it back up. I don't see that being realistic. People want to join our trips all the time and like, oh, when I get sick of my 10-foot raft, I'll just roll it up and put it on the oar frame. Like, no, you're not. We're not going to pull over for half an hour for that to happen. But yeah, if you want to do that, it's cool. The Sotar Rogue series looks like a good fit. Wait, the Sotar Rogue series looks like a great fit, ? Okay, cool. I watched your videos on this boat and a few others that make it seem pretty compelling versus a Mini Max or RMR. My only hesitation is about half the load capacity. You'd probably R2-3 most of the time, but would like to be able to R4 occasionally. It seems like it'd be a bit too much weight for the Rogue with two. I have no idea. I only rode the Rogue series, so I'm not really sure how it paddles. But there are different sizes, so you could get the 14-foot. But honestly, like if I'm just a fun little R2 boat, I'd probably go Mini Max. Yeah, I'd probably just go Mini Max. They're a little. It depends what you're doing. Whatever the sizes are for the Mini Max, if somebody knows the Max, there's like the Mini Maxes. I have a couple of them for rowing schools, little 10-footers. I just think they're a little too small for a lot of applications. They're being popularized right now, but a little 10-foot paddle boat, they're fun. They're like toys. They're like play boats. But I would go a little bit bigger, and it's not the Mini Max. Wait, let's go find it. It's the high side. The Max, the Mini, the something. Sorry, my memories. This one. Oh, wait, the Mini. So the Mini Max. This is the 10.5 for the Max 12. This is a pretty cool boat, although it probably doesn't roll up small enough. But like this is a boat you can R4, R3, R2, be killer R2 boat. Stable. I don't know how small it rolls, but I mean it's a sweet boat. So I think about the max 12. And then as they get older, they're gonna want to row. You put a rowing frame on that, and you can do a lot of stuff with that boat in a rowing frame. Anyway, a second use of the boat would be minimal flying overnight trips. I'd imagine like R2 is similar overnight gear, blah blah blah. The airplane I'm building has a 125-pound baggage capacity. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The Sotar Rogue is just lighter. I mean, and the Sotar Rogue material, the orange material, as I understand, and you should call Sotar about these questions, but it's less durable. And so they made it lighter by using less durable fabric. So it's not going to last for a long time. But the people that row the Sotar Rogues in our courses love them. Like I've sold several of them I mean, they wouldn't bought them, but like they didn't buy mine. But the Sotar Rogue is a cool boat. It's just, I don't know. I haven't used it that much beyond rowing. And I mean, you're trying to solve so many problems here. I want kids to R2. I want to R3 sometimes. I want to R4. I want to fly it in sometimes. About so many things. I'd probably just go the max 12. This is a sweet boat. I'd probably just go this. It's simple. High side makes a good boat. It's affordable. I think this is what fits all your your needs. It's maybe a bit big for like just rolling it and sticking it in the back of the raft. Like the kids may need to stay in it, but I like the Max 12 a lot. Okay, here we go. If you have time to share your thoughts, I'd appreciate it. If you still have one of those Sotar Rogue boats here in Hood River and don't mind showing it off. Oh, they're all in Grants Pass right now. I'm sorry, I don't have those in Hood River. I'm not even in Hood River, so unfortunately I can't. Yeah, it is a long drive to Sotar showroom floor. Oh. Yeah, I'm working with Sotar. I have a few issues with the Rogue series, and I forget what they are. Like some D-ring placement stuff, some like tube diameter stuff, some when it flips, what it looks like stuff. Like there's a bunch of things I've suggested that they fix on their boats, and I'm about to pull the trigger on one that's not made from the super light material, from the like regular material, so it's more durable, and that'll be in Hood River. And it's like basically taking their Sotar Rogue and putting my stamp on it, the things I like. And Jeremiah has that design. If you call him and say, "Hey, Zach designed a boat. I want to check it out," he could probably send it to you. I may have one here in the fall to check out. Yep, we'll see. Oh, well, yeah, here we go. Cody's channel is great. Yep, so is this channel. It's a competition. It's definitely a competition to see who's the best. Yep, but yeah, we'll see how our competition ends. My high side 14 is a little harder to wrangle as an R2, especially in the white sand. Well, I mean, get better. I don't know. It's not that hard. Just, I don't know, go to the gym sometimes. It's fine. It's a little hard maybe, but like it's fine. And the white salmon's a small river. I'm sure a little 12-footer is better on the white sand, but like the high side 14 is super fun too. Wait, man, those E series boats. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, the E series is pretty cool. Let's look up the Air E. They're kind of, yeah. Have I have mixed thoughts about the E series. They're interesting. They have a pointy bow, and so if you look at this boat, it's hard to see here, but the bow is pointy and the back isn't. That's hard to see from that photo. There we go. That's a good view. So it's meant to drive forward and punch through things. And the people who have run like the biggest stuff of all time, like the biggest waterfalls, the biggest stuff, were usually in this boat. This is this is the 143. It's a bit big, like we just mentioned. And I'm sorry for giving Craig. I'm sorry for teasing you a little bit. That was just my way of, yeah. I like to tease a little bit. You don't have to go to the gym. You're gonna be like yeah. I was just teasing. A 14 is a big boat to R2, but it's doable. But getting back to the 143, I'd probably go with the 136E for R2. And you're like, is there a 130? Let's look at E series. How do I click on the website? I can't figure it out. Let's see. That might work. Here we go. The 130E. This is a sick boat. or R2ing. And if your goal is mainly R2ing, I mean, if your goal is to just go big and be rad, you can't go wrong with this boat. This is a sweet boat, a great R2 boat. I wouldn't row it because I don't like that it's pointy on one end and the back isn't. And it's not versatile. Like if you get backwards, it's not going to be as good. But if you're driving a lot forward over stuff in an R2, this is a sick boat. Yep, yep. And if you you run as a paddle boat, I think it's probably a 3 thwarter. You can probably put 6 people in there, even 7 if you had to, with that big stern. Yeah, it's a sweet boat. I had to take a rolled 11-foot Rogue in my 12-foot high side on Tiger Creek after folks had a stray swim. We were heavy, barely fit in the stern. Yeah, yeah. I mean, whenever you unexpectedly have to carry a boat out and potentially people out, it's a whole different ballgame. That's why it's nice to have like a little bit bigger boats because you never know when you're gonna have to take on an extra passenger or deal with things. If you're R2ing in a little 10-foot boat, you don't have capacity to rescue somebody potentially or carry extra gear. And I've been on a handful of trips where a boat pops or people get scared and you have to now carry that boat and those people down. So having a little bit bigger capacity than you need is probably a smart move. Okay, so I think I answered these questions. Yeah, cool. Let's move on. Core sizing. Hope you're well. Yeah, I'm doing good. Just bought an NRS E160. I think you have some of these. I always forget which boat's which. I have some like 15-foot. Let's see. NRS E160. I have some 15-foot NRS boats. Actually, I custom made them because the bow and the stern was different. Here it is. I didn't like that. I changed their design a little bit because if something was weird about it, I forget what it was. But I probably have something similar to this. Yeah, we have here in Idaho. We have some bigger paddle boats. Although I think they're 15 foot, maybe not. E160 I think is a 16-foot boat. Yeah, 16-foot NRS. So I don't think I have the exact boat, but I have something close. I was curious what size oars you guys run with these. 10 feet, but it doesn't depend on the boat. It depends on the frame and the distance between the oar locks. So I wouldn't, based on the frame we put on this, we generally run 10-foot oars. But there's other frames we sometimes use that use longer or shorter oars. So I wouldn't base it off of what I'm saying now based on what we do. I would measure the distance between the oar locks and multiply by 1.63. I've looked at the video on oar sizing. Yeah. If you looked at, I don't know which video you looked at. If you watched my video about oar sizing, it says take the distance between the oar locks and multiply by 1.63. And your free 10.5 feet could be it. Yep, that could be it. But curious what you've settled on for that boat. Again, it's not boat dependent, it's frame dependent. On our boat, which I think is a 15-foot, we have a few different frames that we use, and based on which frame we use different oars. We look at the distance between the oar locks on that frame, do the math, and bring that oar, or the closest thing we have. Okay, cool. That's the last question. I think that's it. For the day. Unless anybody else has some last-minute questions. I want to thank everybody for watching the show. I'm back on the river next week, so there won't be a show next week, but potentially in August, I'll be back home and on a regular schedule. If you have questions, go to Whitewater Guidebook. I haven't showed everybody this site in a while, so if you have questions for the show, go to Whitewater Guidebook, and under Gear Garage, hit ask a question. This is the best way to ask a question. If you email me, Instagram me, I don't know, fax me, sometimes those get lost just because I look at it and I'm like really busy and I just can't I can't keep track of it. But if you ask it here, it gets categorized correctly and it goes into our system. And the next time I have a show, I cover it. But any other way you send me a message, I will do my best to remember to answer it. A lot of these questions you could call the manufacturers too and ask them. That's what they're there for. So if you have questions about boats, please ask them because I do my best to answer questions, but don't always get to them. There was one more question I just remembered. Let me see if I can find it. Nope, actually I can't find it. There's a few other questions I had that aren't on this list, but it looks like we'll answer them. Let me see if I can find them real quick. Nope, I can't find him. Yep, I can't. But I'll do a show in a couple weeks. If you have questions, please ask the questions there. And yeah, that's it for this episode. And see you in a couple weeks.